Hello kids, this is Mr. Morgan's video on how to do the math. The reason I make these videos is so that if you're trying to do them at home, you have a step-by-step process by which to follow along to ensure your success on these math questions. The first one we're going to attempt is new math for 2018. So the first thing you should do is going to click on it, and we're going to come to the first problem, and I have the first problem formula right there. So we're going to go through and attempt this, and you'll see that the first problem is simply asking what is kinetic energy. Okay, and so here is the formula for kinetic energy. I've also put a link for, no, where's my link here? Formulas for physical science. The first one that you see is 1/2 mass velocity squared. So on here, for question 1, it's simply 1/2 mass velocity squared. And what we want to do is we want to go into Google Calculator. Please use Google Calculator in this class because it's a really, really great, simple calculator. I'm going to go back and just get this in new tab so that I got this easily. So the first thing that we have is 1/2 mass velocity squared. There's multiple ways to do this. The first way that I'm going to show you is I'm going to use these great things. They're called parentheses. So parentheses 0.5 times my mass, which is 109.88, end parentheses, times velocity squared. Now this is where button pushing actually comes into place. So we got on here, here's our velocity. It's also known as speed, right? Velocity is just speed with direction. In this particular case, we have speed listed. So we got 26.83 meters per second. So we got 1/2 mass times 2683, was that it? 26.83. to 6.83, and I'm going to square it by utilizing this function, the little x to y function. Put a 2 there, equals. Down here we go to the second decimal point, so that would be 39548.50. But if you don't want to do that, you can just paste it in there. One thing that you must look at is the answer must be in joules. So you just press OK, and that's how that one is. Now if you notice and you just want some practice, you can save and submit, and it will give you the answers. They'll be different the next time you do them, so it's not that way, but you can go through and figure out how to do each one before you attempt it. Like, if you get it wrong, it will give you the correct answer. The first and second question, you do exactly the same, 1/2 mass velocity squared. Here, a 72 kilogram cheetah has a kinetic energy of 22,049 joules. How fast is the cheetah running? You go right up to your formula sheet, and you see velocity equals kinetic energy divided by 1/2 mass. So you plug that into Google Calculator. The first thing that we're looking for is kinetic energy. Alright, so in our test, we see our mass is 72, and this is our kinetic energy, so 22409. So we go clear, 22409 divided by parentheses 0.5 times 0.5 times, what is it, 72? End parentheses. Now here's the where a lot of people get jammed up. You hit equals. Then, according to our formula sheet, you have to square root your answer. So you hit square root, then you hit answer. 24.94. 24.95, and you got a plus or minus. Question number 4. A 64 kilogram rock is dropped. It hits the ground. Calculate the gravitational potential energy of the rock before it was dropped. Everything in here, when you're talking about energy, is going to be in joules. A 64 kilogram rock is dropped at a speed. Calculate the gravitational potential energy. Potential energy and kinetic energy are equal. You have to look at, can you calculate for gravitational potential energy, which in this is potential energy equals mass times 9.8, which is g, times height. So in this case, you don't have any height. So all you can do is have 1/2 mass velocity squared, because you've got a mass and you've got a velocity. So in this particular case, it's 1/2 mass velocity squared, and it's 83232. So on here, 1/2 mass, 0.5 times 64, and parentheses, times 51 squared. There it is. Okay, and on here you do the same thing. A diver, if you calculate PE, which is 9.8 times 55 times 3, and you just calculate your PE, then divide by 1/2 mass, then square root that number, that's what you're going to come up with. So number 5, you calculate PE first, which is 55 times 9.8, which is the gravitational acceleration of the Earth, times 3 equals, divided by 1/2 mass. What was our mass? Our mass was 55. And then you just square root your answer. That's your answer. This is it. And so number 6, you just calculate kinetic energy. Once again, you have to read by what you can. On number 6, this is solved for potential energy because they're the same as kinetic energy. This is kinetic energy. Kinetic energy. It's almost like if you've got a height, solve for potential energy. If you got a velocity, solve for kinetic energy. And then here's the same thing. Calculate PE. And then I believe that's it. So even if it says kinetic energy and you've got a height, solve for potential energy. And with these formulas, you can solve for anything you want. So that's it for math for chapter 15, new math for 15. And so I hope that answers all your questions. Thank you for being so good. And that's it.